Hello, welcome to the Mind, Body, Spirit Summit 2018. My name is Dr. Nicole. I'm a naturopathic doctor in Orange County and owner, co-founder of Mind, Body, Spirit Squad. I'm super excited to have my buddy Brad Davidson. We have been friends for over a decade at this point, met doing some courses together. So I'm actually going to read his bio because it's super impressive and I don't want to miss anything. So head down for just a couple seconds. Brad Davidson is an author, speaker, and performance coach from Orange County, California. He is a highly respected nutrition and fitness expert, a world-renowned strength coach, and an international speaker on the topic of metabolism and performance enhancement. In the last 3 years, Brad has consulted for over 450 CEOs, athletes from 28 professional teams, 6 first-round NFL draft picks, including the number 1 and number 2 pick of 2016 draft, 4 Miss California contestants, 9 top athletes from the CrossFit Games, and active tactical members from SWAT, SEB, and the Navy SEALs. His first book, The Stark Naked 21-Day Metabolic Reset, back there, was released December 29, 2015 with HarperCollins Publishing. Brad has recently been featured in Fast Company Inc. magazine, the New York Post, Details magazine, Muscle and Fitness magazine, Men's Fitness magazine, and Martha Stewart Living.
Whew.
Congratulations. Like, that is
Doesn't
excellent.
really mean a whole lot, but
No, it's super
Yeah.
impressive. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So, super excited to interview Brad today for our summit for a couple of reasons. So obviously we're focusing on mind, body, and spirit. Today we're going to really dive into the body component. Through all of your entrepreneurial expeditions, I feel like you've always kind of come back to the body.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'd love to start. Just like dig in a little bit on why, of all the things you've done, you just kind of keep coming back to the physical, the training, the body component.
yeah. One, I've been fascinated with it since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I still have my notebook back in the day from Muscle Media 2000 with all my original Charles Poliquin articles and Paul Chek articles, and I was just super fascinated with the body. Over the years, I have ventured away from it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's weird, sometimes like this battle of the ego of like, there's more important things than just the body. And I'm not a big fan of the industry where it just focuses all about how you look.
Right.
This whole thing around the sex and abs and body fat under 10%, like it's so meaningless.
Totally.
So over the years, that's always bothered me and I've always kind of got into it, kind of maneuvered away from it. The big one was 2 years ago, I actually sold my gym. I had a gym in Irvine, California, and I sold it, and I started looking more towards the mental, emotional side of things. I got into this really cool course that I love. I still love it. It's called Bold by a company called Driven for Life, and it's literally 48 hours in the mountains away from everything. And yeah, you want to talk about looking inside. You got to look in the mirror. You get to be exposed. You see how you handle things, and it becomes very clear what you don't like about yourself and what you do like. And what I loved about that is I watched people's mentality shift, and they went from hating themselves to loving themselves. They went from, I have to go to the gym to exercise to look different so that I'm more valuable to the world. That's what they start off with. They come out and be like, oh my God, I love myself so much. I gotta go take care of myself. I need better energy. I need to be there for my family. I need to get more done in life, and I have no energy. I have no stamina, like any of that stuff. So I loved that part of it.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of it, and I went through the training of it. But I had an experience not too long ago that led me back to the focus of the body.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in mindset, the mentality side of things, the emotional side of things. It's super important. You have to take care of it. But what I realized is that in life, eventually, if you're not careful, it's going to get you. And it's going to get you big. And I call it the wake the F up moment.
It's perfect.
And in those moments, you got 2 choices. You can either wake up, take back your life and live legendary, or you can let it beat you. And what was interesting is, here I am preaching this message, thinking my life was super solid, and then the one weak link in my armor that I didn't even realize was there, ripped out of me.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, I couldn't control anything. I couldn't control my thoughts. I couldn't control anything. The only thing I could control was my exercise and what I put in my mouth.
Right.
I couldn't control, it was so stressful. I couldn't control how I slept. I couldn't control how I went to the bathroom. I couldn't control my thoughts. I couldn't control anything.
Right.
But I knew enough to know that I could apply a positive stressor as long as it didn't apply too much.
Sure.
Because it's very easy at that point to just go crush yourself in the gym and kill yourself and make things worse.
Right.
So at that point, like all of my training over the years of high performance really, really paid off.
Yeah.
And eventually over time, that one thing I could control eventually led to being able to deal with my mentality, my emotions, the fear, my insecurities. I mean, probably the best thing I've ever had to deal with, because it just ripped me open and showed me, oh, you have these insecurities, and oh, your ego's really big here, and I mean, it was just crazy.
Holy cow.
But because I was taking care of my body, and I was handling the stress, and I had the willingness ahead of time from all my mental, emotional experiences to know that this is an opportunity to wake up,
right,
and take back my life and take it to the next level, and I'm still in the process of doing that.
Right.
But in that experience, I've really fallen back in love with the body. I've really bought into and believe what I believe around the physical side of things,
right,
in regards to exercise, nutrition, recovery. Really is the big component of it all. But it's I'm excited to talk about it.
Well, and this is what is super cool for me too, is that, well, a couple of things. You said live legendary, so I totally want to dive into that at some point of just like what living legendary. Actually, let's do that now, because I think a lot of people, which is fascinating, you know, they have these, I want to be happy, I want to be successful, and those are so broad. Like, unless you really define those things, you're searching forever, right? I mean, like, what is successful to you? What is happy to you? So live legendary. Tell me about that. Like, what is, if you're going to live legendary, like, what does that mean for you?
Well, I think it's very individualized for people.
Absolutely.
For me, it became very specific after I kind of went through everything I went through. But for me, it's definitely not about money.
Yeah.
I mean, crime, I drive a 1999 Suburban that I love.
Which is
like,
awesome.
These jacked
big
up,
tires and
country boy car in the middle of California.
But, Southern,
but like, I love it. Like, I don't want anything else. The only thing I want more than that is an older one.
Perfect.
Right? Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm going to go older school today.
Yeah, you know, when I'm driving around like a late 60s, early 70s Bronco too, you know I've made it financially. I'm money, I'm good.
That's awesome.
So it's not about that for me. Like, I want to make sure I make enough money that my family's comfortable, that I get my kids to college, and make sure that they have their opportunities. But my big thing for me is I got a 3-year-old. He just turned 3. Right, so I got 3 kids, 14, 9, and 3, and
he's super cute.
Oh yeah, he owns me and his mother. But I'm kind of an older dad. I'm 42. I got a 3-year-old, and by the time he's in high school, I'm going to be 60. You know, it's like, that's crazy to think about. And so with him, I kind of felt like with my older two, I missed the boat a little bit because I was so focused on this thing called success.
Right.
Financial success. I had to be rich. I had to be well known. I had to be all these. My ego was driving me like crazy. It was just driving me. Like it drives most people. I had to look a certain way. I had to make a certain amount of money. I had to have so many followers on social media. I had to have all these things to be of any value to the world.
Right.
I called it if only syndrome. If only I had an 8-pack ab set, I would be more respected in the industry. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. If only I had a 6-pack, I'd have more sex. That's BS.
Yeah.
No, all it does is make your significant other feel fat and they don't want to be around you. Like, it's reality, right? Like these lies that they tell us.
Only.
If only syndromes. I had a lot of those, I realized.
Yeah.
But what I've learned now is what's most important to me is my kids, obviously my wife, like my family, but specifically my kids and the experiences that I give them.
Oh, I love that.
It really breaks my heart, like when I go to the park and I see parents on their cell phones where the kids are running around and entertaining themselves. So, living legendary to me is being there with my kids, experiencing life, playing on the playground, exploring. I don't know, whatever it is they want to do, Daddy's going to do it with them. So when I get home at night, I know if I'm taking great care of myself because it's either I want to take my kid to the park and play.
Right.
I'm doing well, right?
Yeah.
Or I want to pull out his animals or his Power Rangers and play.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. I'm taking great care of myself. I'm living legendary. If I'm not, I'm convinced him to sit on the couch and watch TV. And that's not living legendary in my mind. So for me, it's simply that is, what are the experiences I'm giving my wife and kids? What are the experiences I'm giving those people around me? How engaged am I with them?
Yeah.
I want my kids to remember me for the experiences we had and how their dad was always the one that was right in the mix, dancing with them, roller skating with them, doing the jungle gym with them.
Yeah.
So that's specifically to me what's most important.
That's awesome.
And that's living legendary to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. That's perfect. And I like too how you said you've redefined success for yourself. And so I know you've got a couple new projects that are going out soon. And So success has changed then, right, in your mind, and doing something that you're passionate about and really loving, and obviously hoping that that's the thing that does give you that comfortable life where you can take your kids to do fun experiences and all of that. But what is the success, like, passion project thing that you're working on right now that you just that just sets you on fire?
So I have two of them. Very targeted around the body. For the last 4 years, I've been traveling like crazy. I've become a big speaker. I give between 60 and 100 talks a year. Do the math on that, how many days on the road you are.
Right.
That's not living legendary for your kids, by the way. But that was a little bit of my ego, right? Like, I'm in front of a crowd, and they're really into what I have to say, and I was charging a very high level of money for consulting. And after I went through what I went through, I realized, wow, what I've learned and the people who have taught me in the nutrition realm, the exercise realm, is very, very powerful for high achievers under a lot of stress.
Right.
And when I say high achievers, like, I consider myself a high achiever because of, I have freaking a wife and 3 kids. Like, that's hard. That's probably the hardest part of life, is just being a dad. Like, that's hard. It takes a lot of energy, but that's a high achiever. And
absolutely.
Maybe it's a business venture that you're going after, but you're going after life. You're living it. But the problem is that so many people that need what I could offer couldn't afford my pricing. I mean, who's going to pay $800 a month just to get some nutrition consulting to help them perform a little bit better? Pro athletes, of course, right? Celebrities, of course, because they need the extra edge. But what I care about are the people that have really crashed and burned. They're out of energy. They can't engage. They don't have that energy when they get home with their families at night. They just want it back.
Yeah.
Those are the people I want to work with.
Cool.
Those are the people that I want to reignite their energy. It's the people that don't really care first about how they look.
Oh, that's awesome.
They just want to feel great first.
It's awesome.
Right? To be there for the people they love the most. And then if they look better, great. But that's always secondary. I love it with my program, especially the book that I wrote. People would start with it, how much weight am I going to lose? I'm like, I don't know. The average is 8 to 12 pounds in the 3 weeks. Okay, awesome. That's all they cared about. You get to the end of the 3 weeks, it's like, oh my God, I sleep great again. I have some good energy. I have this incredible clarity. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. What, did you lose any weight? Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I lost 12 pounds. It totally becomes second nature.
Yeah, it's how they feel.
Yeah, and so it's really valuable. So what I've done is I've teamed up with this incredible, two different tech teams. One in New York is helping me with, it's called eatsleeprecover.com.
Okay.
And it's all my individualized nutrition strategies. They built it into a logarithm and a system with the supplementation and lifestyle to eat better, sleep better, and recover better.
Awesome.
And why this is so important is because most people are burned out.
Yeah.
And they think the answer is to go burn more energy at the gym, but guess what? We all have a finite amount of energy to deal with every day. Mm-hmm. And if you're super stressed out and you're pushing the limits on energy and you're training like crazy, you have nothing left to recover from. Your body will never change. Mm-mm. That's the biggest issue people don't understand, is it's not how hard you train. I wish that was the answer. Oh my God, I almost killed myself in 2008 thinking that was the answer. It's not the answer. It's how well do you recover that allows your body to create the change, like the restructuring of muscle tissue after you've lifted weights. If you're not recovering, you're never going to grow muscle. It's not because you're not eating enough calories, it's because you're not recovering, for an example.
So important.
Yeah, so important. So it's very targeted and focused on that.
And it's not talked about a lot. Recovery is not. You hear somebody brag about how many hours that they work that week. I pull this, I see this many patients, this many clients, and it's like that. It's sad that that's what's like you're successful then. Yeah. And it's never talked about how important recovery is for the body.
Yeah, it will be now.
Yeah.
I'm on a mission. Like, this is my mission of impact that I want to have, because going through what I went through, like, that was the one thing I could control, was how much energy I expended.
Right.
And it was amazing how I could control and get great results in my body and my labs. Like, I didn't get lean and jacked, like, in regards to, like, lean and my labs jacked.
Right.
I see that a lot. Some of the fittest people I see are some of the sickest people in the labs. There's too much inflammation, too much exercise. So I got very lean, and my labs became the best they'd ever been in years.
Oh, that's so cool.
Going through, like, my own personal hell. Right. So at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is super valuable. Like, but it's all about the recovery. It was about only training on the days my body could handle it. And on the days it couldn't, it was going for a walk. It was taking a nap. It was like all the non-sexy stuff. Mm-hmm. But
non-sexy stuff.
I literally,
like that.
Yeah, it was the truth.
But it's so important.
Yeah, I got so, I look better at 42 than I ever have in my life. And props on that. And I wasn't even trying. Like, that was the least important part of it. It was like, I just got to have the energy to keep going. Yeah. I got to make sure that I can keep my brain engaged. I can still engage with my kids. I can still get my work done. Like, I had to be able to do all these things. So I didn't care about how I looked.
Right.
It was just super funny that all of a sudden, well, now I'm the best you ever look.
Right.
Like, I sent it to my wife, she's like, what the hell happened to you?
It's like when it's not you're like so stressed out about it all the time, just kind of falls into place. You're doing the right things, you're taking care of yourself.
And I like it because, some people start saying, oh, you talk about recovery all the time because you don't like to work out. And, I'm like, my system works just fine. Like, it'll make you look good too. And I just want to drink coffee all day long and feel miserable all day long and drink Red Bulls just to get through a workout. And it's nice. It's super nice. So eatsleeprecover.com is all about the nutrition, the supplementation needs, and it's awesome. I have it built out to where for $129 a month, you get an individualized nutrition program geared to specifically your needs to get the results you want. You get coaching. So there's somebody there to answer your questions, make sure you know how to apply it. You get lifestyle strategies, how to sleep better, how to rest better. You get like recipes, everything, day to day, week to week. But you also get about $120 worth of supplements that are shipped right to you.
Awesome.
Yeah. So what I love about it is if you go on Amazon and you Google the supplements you just got, it's $120 to $130 worth of supplements. Yeah. But you get the whole plan for $129. And they're specifically targeted to what your metabolism needs to get better results and to become more resilient to life. So I'm super proud of that. Yeah. The dashboard is incredible. It's so badass. We're in beta testing right now and it's going really well.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So, yeah. And then I as the app or as the program is being built out on the platform, I don't have any say in that, right? So I'm just twiddling my thumbs as they're building it out. So I decided, I'm going to come up with a little workout app for my clients. So when they're on the road traveling, they can have workouts and they don't have to rely on me all the time. And it kind of become pretty cool. So I've teamed up with my brother and one of my best friends to build a little business around that.
Super cool.
Because what I've learned is that it's not about who can train the hardest or the longest or the most intense. It's who can train the smartest. Yeah. And who can progress, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. That's what it is. So it's at $47 a month. You get a targeted training program that is continually adapting every 3 weeks to make sure that you're progressing, but at the same time not overtraining, that you're doing good for your body versus damaging your body. Yeah. It's exactly how I've trained over the last year to look how I look and to feel how I feel at 42.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm just so in love with what's possible with it.
Let's dive into the strength training aspect a little bit. So, we all know, strength training it's good for you, but why is that the thing that you've come back to time and time again? Like, give the audience some key pieces of what you've seen strength training do, not only just for you physically, but also for your clients. Without that over training aspect, right? Because that's it. People are like, oh, I feel sore, so I must be doing it. And feeling sore is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's that idea of overtraining versus undertraining. But really, what you're talking about, how you've seen strength training just affect that mind component too.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, good strength training protocols, the proof has been in the pudding for decades. That's what I find funny, is that it's not the sexiest stuff, but it's the most, when done right, it has the most validation and science behind it. Yeah. Which is when it's done right.
When it's done right. Yeah. And that's so key. So, even Brad knows, but obviously before I even went into med school, I was a strength coach for a long time. And so it's, you see the trends, all the weird complex movements, or it's like the most weird the exercise look, then it's probably the best for you.
It's cutting edge.
Yeah, if I can do a lunge with one bicep curl and a tricep extension at the same time, then I'm doing everything. But that's not at all how we were taught by infamous coaches. And so, speak to a little bit when you say done right. That's the first thing that pops into my head too.
Yeah. So when I say done right, I like all the research that's been done by Eastern Bloc countries, right? These little small countries that don't have a surplus of talent pool to pull from, but they're building incredible athletes. And there was a lot of drugs back in the day and things like that that skewed things. But when done right, you progressively challenge the structure of the body, which is the muscle tissue. We are supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be explosive. We're supposed to survive in the wild. Right. I've heard somebody say, one of the person I've studied, I can't remember who it was, they stated that to survive in the wild, you'd have to have the level of a high school varsity gymnast to be able to survive in the wild without guns and knives and things like that. Wow. So that's what we're capable of. Huh. Yeah, think about that. That's pretty gnarly, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And to see just walk into a gymnastics gym and see what these little boys and girls, at 8, 9, 10 years old, what they can do. They can out-train most adults.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to do a cartwheel the other day. I thought I was going to rip my hamstring off, right? And it's like, the body, we're supposed to be able to control the body and move the body. Well, you have to move the body and you have to challenge the body.
Right.
And you have to progressively overload the body. But the key is that, I mean, there's ways you can control like how you build things. Like, you have to go from one workout to the next with some type of progression. There has to be something that's getting harder so the body is forced to adapt. So like, for instance, if you're not recording the reps you do, what's the point?
Right.
If you don't know how much rest you're taking between sets, there's no point. If you don't know how fast you're moving the weight, because what matters most is what's called time under tension. It's if I do 10 reps of a bench press and I go 3 seconds down, fast up, that's 40 seconds of work. Mm-hmm. But if I take the same weight and I do 10 reps, but I go 2 seconds down, 1 second up, well, now all of a sudden it's a totally different response because I'm under tension for a lot less time.
Right. Right.
So what matters is you control all the variables, and that's what I've done in the program we've written, to control all the variables. And then you have to make sure that you're creating a program the body can recover from.
Right.
And so it's not the person who can train the most that wins. Eastern Bloc countries have shown about 42 minutes of actual work is all you can handle. At that point, testosterone starts to drop, cortisol, the stress hormones take off. It becomes very hard. I mean, when I trained for the U.S. bobsled team, it was like, okay, I had to train past that, so we'd use branch chains and vitamin C, like all these tools to get past that.
Right.
But if you're just somebody that wants to be resilient and live a legendary life, and you're not performing or training for a specific sport, you need about 42 to 45 minutes worth of work.
Which is awesome because you see these people who are like, no, I need to be in the gym for like hours.
Yeah.
Or I need to be doing X, Y, and Z for 6 days a week for all this time, and it's 42 minutes is totally manageable for the average person.
And I've talked to some people that I really respect on like, what's the magical amount? Because I just wrote an article on some research I found showing that if you train more than, if you're a guy, it was a very specific article. If you're a white guy, right? If you're a white Caucasian guy,
right,
and you exercise 7.5 hours a week or more, you like triple the amount of atherosclerosis you develop. Like your risk for heart attack goes through the roof. That's why these people that are extremely fit die of heart attacks, right? So some of the people I've talked to, they say the magical number is 5 hours. Huh. And so when I built out the system that I have, I just followed that because that's what my coach has been doing for me. I've been doing 5 hours a week and it's been marvelous. So it's 4 days a week of strength training and 2 days a week of conditioning. And literally the conditioning we do for half hour.
Yeah.
And the workouts are 45 minutes to an hour. So it's right around that 5 hour sweet spot.
Yeah.
And I buy into it because the old me, because I used to train twice a day, 6 days a week. I mean, I used to crush myself when I was 33 with the U.S. bobsled team, and like I had nothing to give my family when I got home. I was having to drink Red Bulls before my workout, and then it was like everything I had went into my workouts, and I gave nothing to anybody the rest of the day.
Right.
Like no drive for anything outside of my workouts. It was miserable.
Which is tough, and that's not at all, especially if you've been redefining your live legendary. It doesn't work at all.
It doesn't, and most people, they give everything they have to the gym. And in my opinion, that is totally backwards. Like, you should be giving everything you have to life, and the gym should be accentuating that.
Absolutely.
But most people that are so focused on how they look, they give everything to the gym, and they got nothing left to give life.
Right. And I think, what's cool, too, is as you're talking about the research, and especially what you've been through personally, of what you've used those two components to really control your body, especially with everything you were going through, is taking such a toll on your mind. You actually prove that not having to do all of that to excess, you actually feel better and look better. Yeah. So it's almost
10 years later is the cool part.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
like,
now when you're in your 30s and it's Tim Ferriss, like the 4-hour body and the 4-hour work week. Like I think it's starting to come in a little bit more where it's like if you can make the effort, a concerted effort doing the right, well-researched things for your body, it actually requires less time for a greater result.
I joke around a lot because people are like, oh, that can't work. I need more than that. My professional athletes, they're training 4 days a week very aggressively for about 60 minutes, 2 days a week of doing recovery work, and that's it.
Right.
And these are men and women getting paid millions of dollars for how their body performs.
Right.
Yet you think because you sit in a desk and you do nothing that you need more than them? Like, no. Like, it is so hard to manage powerful. That. It's so hard to manage that and keep them recovering so they perform at a high level.
Right.
If you're sitting down just mentally, emotionally stressing out all the time, people don't understand how damaging that is. Mental stress is so much harder than physical stress.
Totally.
So like the more you're mentally stressed, the more you sit, the less exercise you need. I can't tell you how many CEOs I start with when they come to see me. The first 30 days, they're not allowed to exercise. They can go for walks, that's it.
I love that.
And if I catch them doing more than that, I fire them. It was to make a
I love
point
that.
because
Yeah.
I used to get told that when I travel a lot and speak to a lot of groups of CEOs, and early on, this was my message, like, do less, like, recover better, like, it's not about exercise. And I literally had people, they could basically anonymously grade me out and give me comments on my talk. And
Perfect.
I constantly was having CEOs say, you know, you need to understand your audience better. Like, we're CEOs. We all know we need to exercise more, and you're telling us to exercise less? Like, you're an idiot. I literally had one guy say, you're an idiot. You need to learn your audience. Well, now I've consulted for over 450 of them the last few years. Like, I know what you guys need as CEOs.
Yeah.
It's not exercise.
Right.
Maybe 2% of the CEOs I start with get some form of exercise out the gate. They just can't handle it. They're so depleted and so like Joel James calls recovery debt.
Totally.
Like, exercise won't do anything for them.
Right.
They can't recover from it. All it's doing is killing them slowly but surely.
Right. And what's fascinating about that, especially like knowing your audience, it's almost coming from that perspective of like they just want to be told what they already know.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of hiring somebody is to show you what you don't know.
Yeah.
And how to do it better.
Yeah.
Like, let me work on this part and you go rock your company.
Yeah.
And do a great job and be super successful. And let me handle the part that I actually know about.
Yeah.
Which is do less, you'll feel a whole hell of a lot better.
I always tell people, like, look, do you crave exercise more than anything? The answer is always no. Like, I have to force myself to go.
Right.
I'm like, well, that's a sign your metabolism's jacked. It's not working. It's shut down.
Right.
No. When you're a little kid, what's the best part of grade school?
Recess.
What's recess?
Play.
And what is play?
Super fun workout, exercise.
Yeah. It's like all of a sudden we become an adult and that's to get super serious and boring and walk on the treadmill to nowhere. But that's the key, is that you got to get somebody to the point where they want exercise more than anything. Once you have them there, you win.
Right.
Because the metabolism's on your side. They're recovering. They're getting the gains. They're getting more fit. They're getting more stamina. All those things we want from the exercise are happening because of the recovery. That's why I'll ask them not to do anything for the first 30 days. Yeah. I'll take away their coffee, I'll take away their alcohol, all the things they use to manipulate their energy. And within 3 days, they get an idea of how bad they really feel.
Yeah.
And then what we do is we just recharge them from there.
Build them up from the bottom.
Until they're at that point where they're like, oh my gosh, I want to exercise more than anything. And now all of a sudden I become the brakes, not the gas pedal. I'm begging people to not stop doing so much.
Right.
Because that's not the answer. That's just going to wipe them out again.
Right.
It's reset yourself, get your metabolism in a great place, and learn how to optimize it.
Yeah. Well, and what's cool too is we're talking about the whole mind-body connection. So your body, when you're able to have it rest at that point, your hormone levels are changing, right? Recovering more. And that directly affects your mind. Like, we know all the hormones and your mindset, everything goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
What is that you've seen, what are some of the best responses from recovery from your CEOs?
Well, I'll use a lady that I've been working on. She's 2 months into our plan. She was a little heavy. She didn't like her weight.
Yeah.
That was her big goal, is to lose weight. So I tested her out. Train wreck. Like, gut issues, can't sleep, no energy, is forcing herself to work out, and nothing's working. So I put her on my reset for the first month. I said no exercise was great. She was like, at first she was like, are you serious? That's amazing. And I did things to get her sleeping again. I cleaned up her gut. I got her liver back in check. And within a matter of 2 weeks, she was like, are you sure I can exercise? I'm like, you can go for walks. She's like, okay. Another week, she's like, God, I feel amazing. Like, I just lost 10 pounds doing nothing, and my energy's back, and can I please do more exercise? No. Like, why not? Because you're not ready for it. Okay. 15 pounds now. She's like, okay, can I exercise now? And finally, like, a month in, I'm like, okay, you can exercise. And so she goes and does her first workout, and she's like, this is amazing. I've burned more calories in a workout than I ever have. Like, I feel good from it. I feel great after I'm done. And now she's 2 months. She's down 20 pounds already.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she's just like, unbelievable. And the best part is just her mood.
Yeah.
Her energy.
Yeah.
Her drive for life. It all comes from your metabolism, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right? You're talking about neurotransmitters and all that stuff. That comes from your gut. If your gut's wrecked and your metabolism's wrecked, your brain's going to suck. Yeah. So Dr. Jay Teta, he's a master with the metabolism. A guy I love to study. You should look into it if you haven't. But he talks about, you know the metabolism's in a good place if your schmeck is in check. He calls it schmeck, right? So if your schmeck is in check, your metabolism is doing really well. The program you're on is working. If the schmeck is out of whack, it's not working. You're causing damage.
Change.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
And most people feel like they have no control of their metabolism. It's like, you got to wait every 30 days to get remeasured by your trainer to see if you're making any progress. Like, garbage. After this, you're going to be able to take care of it from right now. Like,
that's perfect.
No,
they're able to, like, look inside and figure out, assess everything.
And so, SHMEC starts off with S, sleep. Is your sleep good? Right? If you're not sleeping well, your SHMEC's out of check, your program's not working.
Right.
You probably shouldn't be exercising, right? I guess you can still do walking, that calming stuff, but not high intense. You're just killing yourself.
Right.
Next is H for hunger. Are you hungry all the time? If you're hungry all the time, it's not working. You should be able to go breakfast and not be hungry until lunch, have lunch, not be hungry until dinner, have dinner, and be good till the next day.
Right.
So if you're hungry all the time, your SHMEC's out of check, your metabolism's not good, your program's not working.
Right.
Then it's mood. This is a big one, right?
Yeah.
We talk about mood. Mood is that whole mental side of things. When your SHMEC's in check, your metabolism's working well, guess what? You're in a good mood.
Yeah.
You're optimistic, you're driven, you're happy.
You're not snapping at your family.
Yeah, it's amazing. And people will always experience that. The first thing that happens when you eat less and do more, within a matter of a week or two, all of a sudden you become a grouch. You're no fun to be around.
Totally.
Classic sign that system doesn't work.
Right.
The next is energy.
I like that.
Yeah, you should be having good energy. Your energy it should be stable, good to go, great energy. And then last one is cravings. Are you having weird cravings? You're having weird cravings like sugary stuff or salty stuff. It's a sign your metabolism's out of whack.
Yeah.
So make sure your SHMEC's in check. Like seriously, like just Google Dr. J. Teta, T-E-T-A, and look up SHMEC. It's beautiful. Like,
no, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And I think too, just having the person start to be more in tune with their system.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many times you ask somebody how they feel, or what is your sleep like? Or, it's good. It's like people have no clue. Like they don't sit there and really be like, how am I feeling? How do I treat my family? How am I sleeping? Am I hungry during the, it's interesting. I think we're so distracted. This is going to like a whole nother topic, but just like you talked about people being on their cell phones, and it's like we have so much stimuli. I was listening to, I don't remember who it was on a podcast, and they were saying that we will be remembered not as the age of technology, but as the age of distraction.
Man, that's crazy.
Because
that's
there's so much stuff that's taking us away from not just our families, but really figuring out, like if you have to rely just on getting every 30 days pinched by your trainer to figure out if you're feeling better, it's like, come on. Yeah, it's like, check inside, like, how are you feeling? Do you feel better in your clothes? Or is your energy better? Is your family been like, hey, you've been super awesome to be around lately, right?
We actually love you right now.
Yeah, you're great. Whatever you're doing, no, you're not exercising. But that also brings, like, me to the point, too, of just, there's so many patients of mine who are like, I'm going to over-exercise so I can eat whatever I want.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm like, this is not a good long-term solution. Like, talk about that for a minute, because you've been around that a lot, too.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
That's why my book has done so well. It's because the book is, no, you're going to do less, and you're going to eat more, and you're going to focus on sleep, you're not going to exercise, and that's really what people need.
Nourishment.
They need nourishment. The body needs to be able to recover. The metabolism needs to be catch up on the job it's behind on. It's really not rocket science.
Right.
But we've been led to believe that this body we have is the devil and it hates us, and that's why it gets fat, and you have to punish it to make it look a certain way.
Oh, God, that's so
And then
perfect.
somehow, once you get to that magical weight or that magical body fat percentage, life's going to be wonderful. You can go back to your old ways.
And then you're happy.
Boom! I mean, oh my gosh, you will revert back so hard. It's the same thing in my book. People complain like, "Oh, the first reset phase is amazing. I lose all this weight. I feel great, but in a matter of months, I feel horrible getting the weight back on." I'm like, you can't go fix the problem and then go back to the damaging scenarios that caused. Like, there's another section in the book called Phase 2, like the maintenance plan. Like, there's more to it than just 3 weeks.
Maintenance, right? No, absolutely.
Yeah, it'll fix the problem, but you got to then manage the problem moving forward. Or you go back to your old ways, you're gonna have the same problems very quickly.
No, absolutely. And I think that's the magical point too. Is why are you even trying to achieve this sub 15% body, and then everything will work out and be happy in your life? Like, what's the why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah,
like, what's the point?
That's the if only syndrome.
Right.
If only I lose 20 pounds, I'll be more loved, I'll be more attractive, I'll be more valuable to society.
I'll get that job, I'll get a raise, my clients will appreciate me more, I'll be more respected, and it's like, it's so backwards.
I've never seen somebody get there, because I used to sell that. We'll get you 10% body fat faster than anyone else, and man, people want that because they think it's going to change their life. And they would get there and be like, my life still sucks. And they would stop because it was too much work. It wasn't worth, the reward wasn't worth the effort. They're done. Well, that wasn't worth it. I never saw somebody come out and be like, oh my God, my life is so much better now that I'm ripped.
Can you repeat that one more time? Because it's so true. It's like, and people get there and it's like, I'm not any happier.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I can wear something that feels a little bit better, but it's not like your whole life changes and then all of a sudden it's like magic.
Look, it's like being rich. Everybody thinks if they are rich, life will be better. People get there, they realize it sucks. Reality is they found at $75,000, that's like the upper level of like, that's true happiness. Anything above that, it gets tough again. It's the same thing with a body. Like, people believe that if they look better, life will be better. It's like, no, you gotta go make your life better. Like, that's all mental, emotional side of stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, this is all about mental, emotional side of stuff. That is so important. The more people take control of that, the better my stuff works. So if you don't want to believe me and you still want to buy in the fact that if you go lose 50 pounds or 20 pounds or get under 10% body fat, your life will be better, go for it. And once you've done that and you realize life still sucks and you've damaged yourself, that's where my stuff comes into play.
Right.
I don't want to work with people that all they care about is how they look, because it's empty. And it's shallow and you're hiding from something. I'm sorry, but it's the truth, because I did it for a long time.
Right.
You're hiding from things you don't want to go deal with on the mental, emotional side of things. And that's why I say life will wake you the F up one of these days and make you go do that.
Right.
You cannot out-train or out-eat realities of tough parts of life.
Ah, that's so true.
And I believe that if you choose to avoid those long enough and ignore them and your ego pushes you away from them, life's going to make you deal with them sooner or later. So that's the people I like. Is like, look, if this is about living a better life, right? Having a more fulfilled life. Like, I don't care if you want abs, go somewhere else. But if you want to have more engagement with your family, you want to be more driven at work, you want to have a better working brain, you want to have the energy to engage and play with your kids or your grandkids, you want to sleep great, you want to have more sex in life, you want those things in life. That's what my plan's for.
Ah, that's awesome.
My program's for a more fulfilled life. The other stuff is just too shallow. And like I said, the only reason I know it is because I didn't want to believe it, and I wanted to push through it and prove everyone wrong. And so I went to the extreme, and all it did was lead me to the point of almost killing myself and wiping out my metabolism to the point where it took me 6 years to just get back to normal.
Isn't that the truth, though?
Yeah.
Because if you, and two, it's like, well, what are you running away from, too? And if you're pushing yourself that hard in the gym and you're away from life for that many hours in the gym or whatever it is that you're doing, it's like you're just exactly what you said. You're distracting yourself from, like, what really matters.
Yeah.
And getting back to those things that are, for you, you said it perfectly, where you live a legendary life.
Yeah. And that's, it's been really hard, right? Because society really wants to buy into this whole idea of sex. If I look better, my life's going to be better. And most of the fitness and you know, nutrition world, they push that. They emphasize that. Like transformation, 12-week transformation. Like, awesome. They can get you. I can put somebody super lean, super fast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of damage that comes with it.
Right.
Right? But I mean, sometimes we have to do that if a fighter has to make weight or somebody has a big photo shoot coming out.
Absolutely.
We can do it. I hate it, but we can do it.
You can do it.
But it's not healthy.
Right.
So it shouldn't, it's like health and fitness. No, it's not. That's not really what the industry is. It's fitness and ego.
Right.
It's not health and fitness. Because
the health component is empty or not. Yeah, exactly. Because you're redefining health as something totally different.
Yeah, you're defining on how you look on the outside.
Right.
But I can't tell you how many times the best looking people on the outside have the worst labs on the inside. As a matter of fact, 9 out of 10 times, if I were to show labs of a really fit person and a sick person, you couldn't tell who was who.
Oh, that's
It's the same exact physiology breakdown. If you have too much stress or not enough stress, you break down the same way. They look exactly the same. They look like they're diabetic, they have hypothyroidism, they have low sex hormones, their blood sugar's high. So that would be bleh. I don't remember what I was saying.
You're like, that would be the...
Oh, the pre-diabetic.
Oh, the pre-diabetic.
Big word.
Yeah, that's okay.
So it's crazy. Like, that's what I see with my really high-level, extremely fit people is pre-diabetic, sometimes diabetic. The best part is when they haven't had carbs forever and they get pissed at you. It's like, well, maybe there's other ways to become diabetic than just eating carbs. Have you ever thought about that? Look into not sleeping or having too much stress in your life. Like, I did it to myself. Like, I get it. Hypothyroidism, I mean, we all know that's on the same adrenal axis.
Oh,
like,
totally.
If you're smoking adrenals, like you're just cranking, your thyroid's going to shut down. Sex hormones, you can't be super stressed out and reproducing sex hormones. It doesn't happen. You have to be relaxed.
Right.
So it's the same metabolic breakdowns. Elevated LDL cholesterol, elevated triglycerides. Sometimes triglycerides can be low in healthy people that are on like the paleo diets.
Right.
But their blood sugar is still really high.
Absolutely. And people think a lot of times it's like, especially what you were saying too, is in the beginning when you start, changing people's diet a little bit and maybe they do get crabby initially or whatever, but everything else sort of starts improving. It's like your sleep, your energy, and I think so many people think like, well, I have to be eating sugar all the time, and that's what makes me pre-diabetic. And it's like, absolutely not.
Not at all.
It doesn't have anything to do with that sometimes. It could be exactly what you were saying, smoking your adrenals, like not being able to sleep really well. That does a ton of damage to how you metabolize sugar. I mean, it's just interesting. I think a lot of the myths and different things that we've learned through the years are really starting to change, especially to programs like yours. Like, grateful for all these people who are now starting to talk about recovery. It's so important. It's going to be like the next, I'm hoping it's the next big thing.
I'm jumping on the wagon and pushing it because I've just seen how valuable it is in my life, my family's life, because I'm a better person showing up. And it's time to get away from this grind of I'm just going to outwork everybody. Because that just, unfortunately, it doesn't work. But that's everybody wants. I think you brought it up earlier, the state of distraction. We are now, it's easier for us to do versus be. Like, we're stuck in a state of 100%. Doing versus being.
Right.
And so it's easy for somebody to go say, well, I'm just going to go work out really hard. That's easy to go do something else.
Right.
It's really hard to say, no, I'm not going to go do that. I'm just going to sit here and meditate and be and relax. But the constant doing versus being generates so much unneeded stress response. People don't get it. Just watch people. They cannot sit still. They have to be doing something. They have to be distracted. They can't just be anymore.
And what's interesting about that is I talk about that in my with my patients a lot in practice, and I'm like, just being. Well, how do I do being? That's my favorite question. I'm like, oh, wait. Once you start asking, what is it that I need to do? You're already going the wrong direction. It's like it's completely flipping that. And I will love it when people start bragging at companies or big, flourishing, successful CEOs, or I took 3 naps this week, or I got to spend more time with my family, or I'm taking a 4-week vacation. I mean, it's just like that. I feel like for our society to be on a whole healthier, it's got to start moving that direction.
And some validity behind this. Joel Jamieson just wrote a great article on this. He showed the obesity levels in America, I think Sweden and Japan. The big ones are in America and Japan. So in America, I think something like 39% of people are obese.
Wow.
And 60% of the population works out. They're active.
Wow.
I think it's something along those lines. But I know Japan for sure. In Japan, only 5% of their society is obese. Yet 60% of their society is considered inactive.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like shockingly different of here's America, everybody's doing like crazy.
Right.
And we're obese, like we're one of the most obese countries there is. And then here's Japan, that is the least obese company, and they're the ones that have the most people that don't do anything.
Isn't that fascinating too? Because then it talks about too, like, all right, well, we love exercise, we've talked about how important that is, but it doesn't need to be this burn yourself out doing crazy, I'm gonna go train for some crazy marathon or whatever. I mean, it's like if that's your gig and what makes you happy and sets you on fire, do it. But if it's to achieve XYZ, then
and I talk about that a lot with people. Like, there's a difference between being healthy and competing in a sport.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you want to go run a marathon, awesome, I'll totally support you doing it. Or you want to go a CrossFit athlete, I'll totally support you doing it. But realize there's all these things we have to do to compensate for the damage. It's not you're not a healthier person because you run marathons, or a healthier person because you do CrossFit. It's like me saying, the way you become healthy is you strap on gloves and you get in a cage and you fight in the UFC. That's how you get healthy. You just beat the pulp out of each other. Like, you're an idiot. It's the same thing. Like, every sport has its damaging aspects that you have to deal with. Football. Go put a football helmet on and play in the NFL. Like, that's how you get healthy. No, it's not. But if you want to do it, great. There's all these things we can do to compensate for it so you can compete well and recover from it.
Absolutely.
And I tell people all the time, like, there's an epidemic of steroids. Because what do those do? They enhance recovery.
Right.
Steroids make you recover. You cheat because you recover better than everyone else. Why can't anybody see that?
No, but that's so huge.
Like, recovery isn't important, but that's what steroids do, is they enhance your ability to recover. The better you recover, the better you adapt, the more your body changes to the stimulus, the better you are.
Isn't that fascinating?
So freaking go get a massage, take a nap, sleep 9 hours a night, recover better. It's fascinating. It's not rocket science when you think of it.
But that's what's cool too, because it's like you're not telling anybody like you're wrong for wanting to train for this.
No.
It's just like that's great. Like that's super cool if that's your thing.
Yeah.
But it's like then you've got to put that emphasis on the recovery.
Yeah, I'll train anybody for any endeavor. I think it's super cool that people want to push themselves and challenge themselves. I'll totally do that.
Right.
But the reality is, I've never seen some type of sporting endeavor that doesn't have some negative aspect that we have to manage and control.
Right. And then it's finding out how you control that, how you fix the damage, and then how you recover from it, so that when this is done and you can still be there and be that great person for your family, for everything else that you've got going on.
Yeah, it's great.
It's huge.
The other thing that's funny is that most the studies done on exercise being so beneficial for us is moderate exercise, aka majority of it's walking.
Right.
There's such a value of going from sedentary to moderate activity like walking. Huge benefit. But what's funny is you start looking at the scale of calories being burned and energy being produced going from moderate exercise to intense exercise, not much happens.
Right.
And what happens is if you don't recover well, you run out of energy too soon, you're under too much stress, you start pulling from other places. You pull from the body's ability to recover the stimulus, so you never get better. It's why people aren't getting better from the exercise. So people think, well, if I walk 10,000 steps, I'll burn so many calories. If I walk 20,000 steps, I'll burn twice as much.
I'll be even more, yeah.
You actually don't burn any more. Joel Jameson, I'm telling you, I keep going back to this article from Joel Jameson because he just laid it out there. Like, high intense exercise, the volumes that we're giving people are killing people.
Right.
And they're not providing any benefit. That's why people are training. Like, you see this all the time at gyms. You go to these gyms where they train people really intensely, very high intense, like to the point of almost puking, yet you watch people never change. They always look the same. It's because
and
exercise...
they always look like they're going to die at the end of their workout.
And then you hear the trainer saying, well, you need to commit and train more. It's like, oh my God, no. You need to go home and sleep.
Right.
You need to go home and take a nap and go get a massage. Like, all this exercise is doing is driving more inflammation. It's killing you.
Yeah.
And if you are not getting results, it's not working.
Right.
And the answer is never to go work harder. Like, I've never seen that be the answer. The answer is to recover better, to eat better, to manage your emotions better, manage stress better.
Right.
All that stuff then allows your exercise to train. I mean, your exercise to actually benefit you.
Yeah.
So I'll give you some examples. Like for me, I use the Aura Ring, and it gives me that heart rate.
I do too.
Yeah, heart rate variability.
Yeah.
Gives you readiness scores. And I exercise according to that. Like today, my readiness score sucked because I just got back from being in Savannah and I haven't slept well the last couple nights, and my readiness score sucked. I didn't go work out today.
Right. No.
Shocker.
And it's so interesting too because there will be some nights where I'm like, wow, that was a good night's sleep, and I'll look at my ring and I'm like, ugh, not a good day to maybe like push myself harder than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Like I realized this and this. My heart rate was up higher.
Yeah.
It's also really sad to see, at least for me, and not everyone's like this, just based on your metabolism, or how your liver metabolizes things. But if I have a glass of wine at night, which a lot of women, especially women, swear by for helping them sleep, my sleep is so much worse.
Yeah.
One glass of wine, like my heart rate is elevated. That's fine. My heart rate variability is dropped.
Yeah.
My temperature is way high, and I like to sleep cold. I mean, I still abide by that whole rule. But I'm like, man, so I know if I've got something the next day that's big for me, I don't care what it is. I mean, there's no red wine. I don't care if it's organic, sulfite-free, Pinot Noir, high amounts of resveratrol. Like, no. For me, I know that it does wreaks havoc on my sleep.
Well, I'm sure I just did that because of my wife's birthday yesterday. So we had like sushi and cupcakes and wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up, my heart rate was through the roof. My readiness was trash.
Right.
God, I thought I slept good.
Right. But what's so important, and I totally want to bring this up too, is that instead of you waking up and being like, I ate all these things, I better go do 2 sessions at the gym, which is so the average person, you're like, yeah, my heart rate variability is low. I'm not going to train today.
Yeah.
And that is super cool. Especially just knowing you for all this time. It's awesome that you even have like gotten yourself to this point where you're like, I know exactly how my body operates.
Oh, 20 years ago, the solution was go sweat it out.
Yeah.
I still remember the very first gym I worked at in Orange County was like the big, like high-end Sports Club Irvine, what it was called. The most popular time was Saturday morning about 10 a.m. Everybody's in there sweating out the night before.
Yeah.
And now I just cringe thinking about the damage that was being done back then.
Could you imagine? You're already dehydrated.
Yeah.
And you're just, your heart rate is just like going through the roof. That's wild.
Yeah, Joel has a cool new technology piece coming out called Morpheus. It's like I love the Aura Ring because it gives a bunch. You can if you understand the data, you know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand the data. Like, what the hell does this all mean?
It's tough. Yeah.
He has this new system coming out. It'll be your recovery coach.
Oh, cool.
It'll read throughout the night. It'll read your heart rate, your HRV, all that stuff, and it'll dictate your training zones that you can work in safely for those days. Is it a good day to push it? A day to control it? Here's the range you control it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to get one.
I just love the focus on recovery. I think it's super important.
It's
you on that.
In all of my research and studying all the people I've worked with, it's the thing that's most neglected
Yeah.
But it is the thing. I even saw Charles Poliquin posted today, training hard is important, but recovery is essential or something like that. He called it a Poliquinism.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, it's so funny. We're going to get together. We're going to talk about rest and recovery. And one of our original mentors that we met through is saying,
preaching about that today.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Recovery is the most important thing to get results.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, I think that's like the perfect way to wrap it up. And Brad, I'm like super grateful that we got to do this interview today.
Thank you.
We will let you know how you can follow Brad, see what he's up to, check out his programs that he's been working on so hard that are going to be, I think, really awesome and easy for people. And you're going to do like a little coupon code or something for having people perfect for having
the code will be the name of the summit. We'll put it in the text.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good catching up.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And recovery is going to be the wave of the future. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Boy, we all are stressed out enough.
Yeah,
we definitely need more rest and regeneration versus just more stress on the plate.
Right.
Last thing I want to finish up with, just to validate this, is all exercises, high intense exercise, is stress. And I always tell my CEOs this. I said, so if the solution is exercise, all you're telling me is that to get results, you should just go stress yourself out as much as you can, an hour a day, 6 days a week, and you're going to win in life. Well, no, that's stupid. But if I use the word exercise and I tell you to do that, you think I'm brilliant. It's the same thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so just when you think exercise, high intense exercise, think stressing yourself out like crazy. That's all it is.
Right.
You probably only want to do that when your body's ready to handle it and can recover from it.
And know how to do it correctly for your system.
Yeah, otherwise you're just causing more damage. And that's why nobody's getting results anymore.
Right. Because they're not doing it the way that's right for their body.
Yeah, that their body can adapt to and handle and get better at.
Yeah, that's totally true. Thank you. Cool.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you for joining, and we'll talk soon.